Hello guys, welcome to your very last assignment for English 100 and 101. I wanted to remind you of a few things and go over the final draft requirements with you really quick, just in case maybe it's a little clearer when I talk through it. So your final draft of your essay is what is due on Monday. So in this draft, you're taking all of the comments that I've made. You should have gotten feedback on Saturday from me, so make sure you make the changes based on those comments. That's really important. A lot of your grade comes from making the changes that I ask you to make. Additionally, I have put some of the requirements on here, like a quick list. So you need to have 1,000 or so words. That's about 4 pages. You should have an APA cover page, in-text citations, and a references page. So we've done this for final drafts for every single essay. A couple of you guys did not have in-text citations. That's really important that you add those in. This is anytime you use paraphrase, summary, or a quote. You have to cite it in text in parentheses afterwards. You should have at least 3 credible sources. I saw some sources in there for your second draft that aren't quite up to par. Make sure that those are credible sources. And you should have a mixture of quotes, summary, and paraphrase. You shouldn't have all summary. You shouldn't have all quotes. You should have a mixture of them. So make sure that you're doing that and that you're taking the comments that I make and making those necessary changes. Remember that a good rule of thumb for this essay is that for the articles that you find about different types of contexts, you should summarize the information that you get from those articles in about 1 to 2 paragraphs each. That'll help you a lot in getting to the length requirement, and that's what you're doing. First part of your essay, you are summarizing new information that you've found through research. Second half of the essay, you're applying your new understanding of your topic to that original understanding. So how does this information that I found out through research change my opinion in some way, or change the reaction I have to this initial article, whatever that might be. So remember, if you click on grading rubric, you can see the rubric that I grade with. I'll come down here. Okay, so this is the grading rubric. Remember, the first part that you're getting graded on is organization, so you do need to have that thesis statement that guides the rest of your essay. Your paragraphs should follow the order of your thesis statement, and you should have a logical order to your paragraphs and use topic sentences, all that stuff. Analysis is another part of your grade wherein you take your new understanding of the topic and you apply it to your original understanding, and you say, hey, these are the differences I found from what I first thought to what I know now because I've done all this research. Remember in the example with Maui and Moana, we might say, well, the first time I watched Moana, I thought Maui was just like a really strong guy with a bunch of tattoos, and he seems really selfish and full of it. And then we did a bunch of research and we found that, oh, hey, Maui was portrayed in a way that isn't consistent with the culture of Polynesian societies, and we found that Maui was based on a mythology that also had a woman part that wasn't shown in the movie. And so you can explain the differences and why you might think that they're there. Maybe you think the differences are stemming from just not enough research is done, or maybe it's because of racism or something like that, like we talked about with Maui. Okay, so then comes sources. So remember I mentioned you need to use paraphrase, summary, and quote. You need to cite everything using APA style in-text citations. If you don't use in-text citations, that's plagiarism. You can get in a lot of trouble for that. And you should use the Oreo method, meaning you use signal phrase, then the quote or source material, and then explanation. Everything should be sandwiched together like that. And we looked over a PowerPoint on that, I think, maybe last week's video in English 100, so you can take a look at that as a refresher. And then the last thing is APA, grammar, syntax, and mechanics. Part of your grade is getting to that full 4 to 5 complete pages, double-spaced, Times New Roman font. Part of your grade is using APA format, so having all 3 parts of that. And then another part of it is using academic tone and making sure you're proofreading. So that's another important part of your grade on that. So that's your final assignment for English 101. If you have questions about that, feel free to email me. As has been posted for a while, the due date is the 7th, so Monday at midnight. And I'll be on my computer / on my email Monday, so I will be able to talk to you if you need some help with that the day of. As for English 100, you have one assignment due, and it is due on Wednesday, so after your final draft in 101 is already due, you will be, by Wednesday, submitting a final reflection in English 100. So this is going to cover your writing process, the work you've turned in over the semester, how you feel about it. And what I'd like you to do is to answer these questions in 3 to 4 sentences each. So you should have a good chunk of a paragraph after writing all of this. Please don't write, 1 sentence for each one. You won't get all the points. And this is just asking you to reflect on your writing process and how you feel like maybe you've grown through the semester, or maybe you feel like you are still really struggling with some things, and that's totally fine. So the first question is about how long you allow yourself to work on each draft of your essay, whether or not that was enough time, and maybe if you had distractions around you while you were trying to work, so that you can think about moving forward, how can I start to eliminate those distractions? Or maybe I was a big procrastinator and I waited till the last minute to write all my essays. I should reflect on how I can be a little better about not procrastinating. And then the second is about your work methods and what, if you see any of them that need improvement, why do you think they need improvement? How could you improve them or change your methods altogether? Maybe you found that before this class you never outlined a paper ever, and now you're like, outlining is the best thing in the whole world. I'm going to do that for every single essay I ever have to write in the future. And then 3 is about what did you learn about your writing process throughout this class? How do you write best? Do you have to be listening to music? Maybe that's something you learned about yourself. Maybe you learned that it's best for you if you color code things and organize them and outline, and that works really well. Or, maybe you learned that that doesn't work for you. That's totally fine. And then 4 is, how do you feel about the work you submitted this semester? What went well, what didn't go so well? Why? That's pretty self-explanatory. And then 5 is, what was your favorite part of this class? You can answer that question however you like. It can be about work. It can be about not work. I really enjoyed my time with you guys this semester. I wish it didn't have to end with this weird online format, but the world is what it is. If any of you will have to take English 102, I will also be teaching that for the spring. I'd be happy to see any of you guys in my class. So take care, be safe. If you ever need to reach out about anything, help in a future class where you have to write essays, or maybe you are struggling in any way, shape, or form, then email me and I can get in touch with you. And I'll still have this same email address that is listed on my syllabus. And I'd be happy to stay in touch with you all. Otherwise, have a great Christmas break. Eat a lot of good food, get some rest. And I've really enjoyed being able to be your professor throughout this semester.